Alright, next is the triceps muscles. And those are called the triceps brachii, as these were called the biceps brachii. The triceps refers to three muscle heads. The medial head, the lateral head, and the long head. So we'll start out with the medial head first, which is pretty similar to the brachialis muscle. So we're going to duplicate that. And that origin is the back of the humerus up above the middle part. It's below something called the humerus groove or something like that. I don't know. I'm not, it's one of the landmarks on the humerus. I was always taught it was just somewhere in the upper middle of the humerus. And the insertion, as they all are, is right here on the olecranon of the ulna, the elbow there. So we're going to bring this over. We'll move it up just a little bit. And I guess we could probably tilt that just a little bit. And we can move that, use the move tool. Get the flatten tool out. Let's see, smooth. Probably could inflate down here just a little bit. And you don't really want to cover the humerus down low. We've got muscles that attach over here, so it's good to kind of keep that visible. Alright, so that's all you need for that. And on that we add two muscles, and it's not too different from what happens in the lower leg. So it's very similar to this, where this form underneath is the soleus. The medial head of the triceps is like the soleus, and then the two muscles that attach are, this would be the long head, this would be the lateral head of the triceps. It's very similar to that, and then you have a tendon that cuts across the soleus, the Achilles tendon, that connects these two muscle heads to the same point. So if you think about the heel of the foot, the calcaneus is a lot like the olecranon. It's this kind of lever. So it's very similar. So what we could do is might be able to use that muscle to create the lateral head. Its point of insertion origin is up high on the back of the humerus. Something like that. Make it a little thinner. See if we can change this down here. Try to make it look nice. Use the pinch tool. Something like that. So it's pretty good. We could take the same muscle, copy it again for the long head. Comes down lower, it's more massive, and it goes in between the teres muscles. So the top of the muscle head attaches to the scapula, right below the glenoid fossa. So let's see what we can do. It wraps around just like the gastrocnemius medial head. It comes more forward on the inside than the lateral head does. Another tree. So up here, it's more of a tail. Probably use the pinch tool up here for the lateral head. This one, let's make that move tool take it in between the teres major and teres minor. Make it a little fuller. And the biceps can meet up high. They can meet each other, so we can bring that back a little bit as well. So like the long head of the triceps, and we could actually, let's see, bring all this out. See what happens. Okay. So we can see on the inside. Let's bring it out a little more. So these muscles can come closer to each other. Bring that out. Bring this over. So these muscles can touch each other at this point. Down here you do see the brachialis and the medial head of the triceps, but up here these muscles come forward and touch each other. This actually, let me see if I can do this better. Make that so it's a muscle, the top of that muscle head goes into the scapula, between those two teres muscles. And it's kind of interesting. There's something easy to remember about that. You know, just it helps you place the teres muscles knowing that there's this gap in between them that has to be respected so that this muscle can go in there. So also, you know, think about how the gastrocs in the back of the lower leg is. This is very similar to that. And we'll probably put that tendon on the back of that just to add form, because there's something here. There's a little tail that's part of the lateral head that causes another form. It has a lot to do with the way it attaches to the tendon that goes across. So all right. Let's see if we can copy that. And what we'll do is change the shape of it. So something like that. This muscle head connects to this tendon. This muscle head connects to this tendon, and that way everything connects to the back of the ulna on the olecranon. It's also a little bit like the quadriceps tendon in that way. There's a pattern that you'll recognize. There's all kinds of these similarities, you know. Like I did the trapezius and the latissimus. Those muscles are very similar. The external obliques and the abdominals are very similar. You know, all these muscles, there's a pattern set up. So I had well, the other guy I taught anatomy with, he would look at the patterns, and you know, I would compare these muscles, like I compare these to the gastrocs, he compared them to the quadriceps. And it's like, well, okay, you know, yeah, there's that. So anyway, let's see what this looks like if I put it back. Then we got to make sure that the width of that upper arm isn't too massive. Things didn't get away from us a little bit. Let's see. And one thing I noticed is that this I brought in too far. Not a big deal. Should come down lower though. Having a hard time getting this. And there's also a tendinous expansion in here, right around here, which is same as the gastrocs, or there was a tendinous expansion that I talked about right out here. So let's look at the overall. Does that look like a massive arm? Maybe that's not too bad. Maybe that's just about right. It's easier to tell once we get the deltoids on. Let's see. Yeah, I guess it could be something like that. All right, so that's the upper arm. Next would be the pectoralis and then the deltoids.